I've seen countless pictures, videos, all sorts of stuff about these towers, but when you're actually coming up close and personal to something that you've never actually seen for yourself before, it's quite a thing, really. A bit emotional, really. I've never seen these with my own eyes before. This is so tantalising. We're getting closer and closer to the towers. Still, they're probably still about, I don't know, a mile away. So here we are, the Maunsell Towers, or one set of Maunsell Towers. As I say, helped save our bacon in the Second World War.
As fast as you like, and remember at half time I will be asking everybody just to retire back inside and allow those who are inside outside. Now we are pretty much here bang on low tide, so all the way around us we have around about 5 metres below our keel, so they sit there at about 6 metres of water from the surface to the bottom. Although with these foundations, this Oxford style picture frame that lays on the riverbed, the towers do have a certain amount of scouring around them, and so the riverbed changes shape. As you pass around, it sometimes reads on the depth sounder about 5 metres. Pudding gantry on it. This was placed here at by the Red Sands project, a team of enthusiastic individuals who are trying to keep one tower alive. They go up inside, carry out various repairs, and you'll notice on the west side the top level windows, they've all been replaced and reglazed. Although the lower ones they took out just before COVID with the view of trying to replace them and bring them back out and put back up. But sadly they've not been out here for 3 years now. So it is certainly letting the weather in, so a lot of their work is being undone. Visitors from the shore are coming out here in boats, they're climbing up all over the tower. Of course, they call themselves urban explorers, but unfortunately they're doing more harm than good. Back in our first lockdown, when we were all told to stay at home, not to venture out of our homes, we did have a group of individuals that came all the way down from Manchester. They managed to run out here in their boats, tied them up, went up inside the tower, had a midnight party, and they woke up in the morning, their speedboat took off. They called a mayday, the RNLI came out and picked them up, took them back ashore to Southend, Sheerness, and then of course they were met by explosives. Yeah, but nice. All the way from Dover on the speedboat. Wow. Underneath the searchlight towers, they've got the black tanks. The ladders coming down to what we would ordinarily say would be a barge dock. Of course, supplies would have been brought out from HMS Wildfire, Sheerness. Barges would have lay alongside the legs, tied up to those bollards, and then using the derricks from the top deck would allow boxes to... Let's look out to sea very quickly. You'll see, looking down towards the shivering sands, all the way down there. How many towers can you spot? 5? That's what most people say. There is in fact 6. The Beaufort's Tower and the Command Tower are in transit, so it's very difficult to see the Command Tower, the one in the middle. Is actually leaning backwards. The top of it is closest towards the Sheppey shore. So that means, with that leaning backwards, the ship's stern is going down into the deeper waters of the River Medway. She is in 2 halves either side of that sandbank. The blackbirds that are standing perched all the way around the tops of the mast, these are cormorants. These birds eat their own body weight in fish every 24 hours. And of course that flight's starboard list. As a result of that, obviously you cannot see the same life raft cable on the opposite side of the ship. Spars and rigging once come off from the tops. On the forward mast there is still a pulley left over from the winch systems that used to drive all those spars to allow the ships to operate. Another life raft cradle exists next to the rear mast, but unless you're back here in mid-October, when we start to see the equinoxes, where we get the highs of the highest tide, and
So we just had a look at the Maunsell Forts and we're about to walk back along the pier. So Southend Pier, one and a quarter miles long, 1.25 miles from the start to finish of the pier. So the tide is well on its way out now. That's why we could see the masts as the Montgomery so easily. It's not fully out, it goes quite a way out, Southend. It really does go quite a way. It's really a nice way to spend an afternoon, walking up and down the pier, and if there's a boat ride in between, that is even better. And seeing the S S Montgomery was very, very eerie indeed. When you're actually up close and you can see those masts in great detail, 3 of them, and you can see the way they're sitting, that the ship's actually broken its back. It's quite, it's a bit daunting. As the captain of the tour said, they keep a very, very close eye on it indeed. So it's monitored and then some, really. So this camera is not light. It's not that heavy, but it's not light. So if I do enough filming like this, I'm going to have arms like Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's no way that's going to happen, but you know what I mean. So this gives you an idea of what it used to be like. There used to be twin tracks like this all the way from the beginning to the end. The trains used to just pass as normal, but as the structures become weaker, they've only singled the line. Makes maintenance cheaper. So this is that's what it would have been like, and this is the crossover point to allow 2 trains to pass. It seems they've only got the one running at the moment. It seems that there's some kind of problem with the trains, which happens. So we're down to a single track. You can still see the original width. So it's been rather a blinding afternoon actually, as I sit in this, as I languish in this seat almost at the end of the pier, the head end of the pier, you know, the coast end of the pier. And I'm starting to, no, I'm not starting to get hungry actually, because that breakfast in Witherspoons has done me, that will do me till about, I don't know, 7 o'clock tonight. So we're going to have a look in the museum now, I think, and see what delights they have in there. I remember being fascinated as a boy by these centrifugal windscreen clearers. No wipers, just this thing that whizzed round, threw the water off. Fantastic old things. Brings back a lot of memories. A lot of memories. They're just a nice colour as well, just very nice livery. And they made this lovely noise as they went along the track, because there's only two axles, one each end. And they were superseded by these, which we just saw running, because I think the new train, I think it's a new one, I have to find out. So let's go on board, shall we? So as we ventured on board, we found that, I found that I hadn't remembered how beautiful these carriages were on the inside. I'm doing the voiceover because they actually had music playing inside the carriage, so I thought I'd better just do a voiceover instead. These are the controls in the cab. They look very old-fashioned, but they did the job. But look how beautiful this is, with all the wood and the old-fashioned lights here and the beautiful winders on the windows. Real craftsmanship, and these were built by AC Cars. The screen wasn't one of the original items, that screen's been fitted later. We've got the seats which go forward and backwards, so you can always be sitting forwards. A bit like didn't the old trams have those sort of seats? Absolutely, it's just wonderful. But as I say, as a child, that didn't stick in my mind, the ornateness. The thing that really stuck in my mind was the little bit of glass that spins round and round and throws the water off. And that does the same thing as a windscreen wiper. So one last look at dear old Southend before we head back